Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream of the Age of Mythology 1v1 Summer Tournament. Tonight we've got Joe versus Herro, which is the second of the two semifinals. I did the other one yesterday. And Joe is looking at the two players, obviously the favorite to win this. He's really, really good. Has been in the finals in the last two tournaments, and Herro kind of maybe so far kind of overachieved in this tournament. I don't think probably anybody expected him to get this far, but he's here in the semifinals, and with the way this tournament works, one never knows what might happen. So we will just, I'm starting a little bit later my time than normal, so I will kind of abbreviate this. We'll real quick look at the brackets to see how we have got here so far. So spoiler alert if you haven't watched some of the previous live streams. And let me load up the brackets here real quick. So we are looking at the top half of the bracket. And it is Joe versus Herro. And Joe has actually had a bit of a close go of it so far. He actually hasn't swept any of his opponents yet. Every series has ended in 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, and that one against Nyan Racing Cat probably a little bit closer than even the 3-1 shows. Nyan almost won a second game, and that was after Joe kind of used all of his main gods. So say Nyan were to have won that second game, it would have been a game 5, and Joe probably going to some off gods. Herro, on the other hand, what are we looking at here? Herro got a couple forfeit wins actually, which is maybe what kind of helped him overachieve this tournament. But then he did beat Sun Tzu 3-1 in round 3, and now we're in the semifinals, which is round 4. So we are just going to get into our first recorded game of the night now. A little bit weird is that they had a lot of the recorded games don't work because there's 2 observers. So after this first one, I did a little bit of homework, and I am going to have to stream a stream of the game, which I guess is easier for me because then I won't even have to move the mouse. I can just sit there and watch. But the first game is fine, and we will get into game number 1 right now. And I think we are ready. And Folano says hello. He actually said hello before I even started the stream. That's kind of amazing. And I think we are good to go. And Medio is also saying hello. Hello! So we are going to start right now and go into game number 1. Joe primarily an Egyptian player. Herro primarily just Loki, though he does play a few other gods, but when you're talking about his best skills, pretty much Loki, and then maybe some other Norse, and then potentially a Ra possibly, but not like Ra is really too hard to play and be competitive. What am I looking for here? Summer tournament. And Joe versus Herro on Anatolia. And we got Joe on the bottom, and he is Isis, and Herro on the top is Thor. So Anatolia, Isis v Thor. We've got a 4 boar spawn right in the middle of the base here. Looking at the map, obviously it's well, maybe not obvious to all, but Anatolia is a phenomenal Isis map. It's really good for any Egyptian, just because of the cheaper docks that you can build, and then you can kind of defend your fish pretty easily. I mean, just look how little room there is to harass the fish. So the Egyptian will end up putting a dock here, here, and here, and then can essentially defend his water with just the docks and not even having to make any military building or boats at all. And that's kind of gives him the advantage over Herro, who, if he wants to do any sort of harass, is going to have to make a ton of boats, and even then might not even really be that effective. Also, with the cheaper docks, allows Joe to easily dock this side and then come up here and dock on the top as well. You want to see some spicy maps? Well, I do too. I love spicy maps. They're great. So hopefully we'll see some pretty good maps tonight. Anatolia is pretty basic. I would assume this was Joe's map. I mean, Isis on Anatolia, that's pretty strong. Thor isn't terrible on Anatolia, but when you compare to just the power that the Isis or / Egyptian gets on Anatolia, not that great compared to Isis, who also gets 2 gold mines in the base, so it doesn't even really have to worry about potentially getting pushed off of gold anytime. So with the Ancestors, Eclipse gets a really heavy and strong kind of mid-game push just based on 2 god powers. Now the Thor does have flaming weapons, which can be useful, and it's not like it's a gimme win for Isis, but it's, I don't know, like if between 2 even players, I'd probably say it's almost like a 70% Isis, 30% Thor, something like that. And even the gold mines looking at are and not too bad for Joe. They're actually pretty close to his base. They're actually all, except for this one, which is kind of lost on its own down on the bottom. They're actually all right here on the left, kind of left hemisphere of the map. And then you got this lone one down here. Is there a link? There is. If somebody would put exclamation point bracket, you can get a link. Just know that it is all the way updated. So if you're worried about spoilers from previous games, well, then you would see that. But I'm guessing if you want to know the brackets, you're not really concerned at all. But yeah, exclamation point bracket will get you the link if you just put that in the chat. Or I could do that for you. Oh, there you go. So yeah, we see Joe doing the typical spamming. He's probably gonna have to delete this house because he has built his villager into a little corner here. And I think when he figures this out, we'll end up deleting a house that the villager spent so much work to build. Talking about strategy, it'd be pretty standard for the Isis to do kind of a pretty quick, fast heroic, probably like 8:30 to 9 minutes, maybe even a little bit faster than that. And maybe probably kind of a slow, there goes the house, I was just waiting for that. Probably a slower classical age, like almost a 5:30. Classical age. The Thor could do a variety of different things, none of which really would work super well against the Isis in this situation. I mean, really can't like pressure water very well. Could go for like an early second town center and like try to get like some sort of like maybe a semi-quick rag, but even that against a good player like Joe, you just wouldn't have the time to do that. I'm no Thor player, or even, I mean, you guys who watch me know that my Norse is questionable at best, and I have to say I haven't watched a ton of Thor v Isis games. It really don't happen too common these days anyway. So I'm not really sure what would be, like if you're trying to roll the best strategy as a Thor, what would really be your best option. I would think it'd be some form of like a 2 town center, kind of a semi-quick heroic, but even then, I mean, kind of risky, because if you do this one, it's kind of open to early pressure from Joe on land. If he grabs the back one, he kind of gives up complete map control. So we'll see, I guess, what Herro chooses to do. He is up Freya, and he'll be up, I can't quite see the percentage, my chat is in the way, but looks like maybe he's about 30%, so he'll be up a little bit after 5. And yeah, we've got Joe with about a 540 and sending a lot of vills to gold and also to wood. He'll want to get, I would assume, he might make like just a couple cabinets to kind of defend a little bit, but really, I mean, like, he makes 2 cabinets and he can kind of defend this against anything. And then we'll be able to just kind of quickly move over to heroic. And it's getting his monument. You don't want to forget that. It is kind of an easy thing to forget on water maps, is your initial monument, which then really sucks when you do a fast heroic and try to build your Migdol and you realize, oh, I do not have the favor. And yeah, just putting his docks next to each fish pack. Really, the fish kind of, they spawn kind of close to the shoreline, kind of. Or, I mean, there's just not a lot of water. I mean, when you talk about like trying to outmaneuver, you really can't. There's just so little water. So Freya, what is he doing as Freya? He's been up for a while and really hasn't done anything, to the point where I kind of wonder what his plan is, because he's just building a house. I'm assuming he's housed or about to be housed or something. But yeah, he hasn't even like built a single military unit, and Joe building his armory here. Okay, he has built, I guess, a couple boats, but are there any relics? There are. There'll be 2 relics on this map. The first one down here, 3 helpful monkeys that aren't really helpful at all. And then where is the other one? Oh, he got the other one. Herro did that makes temple improvements slightly cheaper. So pretty poor relics. Temple improvements cheaper doesn't even apply to favor. It only does food, wood, gold. So it would like over the course of a game, like at best save like 100 resources. So it kind of sucks. Yeah, Joe, you can see, is powering up for his age up. I think he's got per sign. Yeah, he does. And same thing for Herro, also has per sign, which is that first fishing ship upgrade. And Joe did make just a few boats, as we see down here, just to defend. And I assume once Herro kind of comes down here and sees these boats, he'll probably just kind of fall right back, because there's really not a whole lot he can pressure here. Once he gets past that dock, it's just kind of pointless. Anatolia is definitely an Egyptian map, and Herro is going, it looks like, just a straight fast heroic without a second town center. And this kind of, Joe is using prosperity. He has pickaxe, which is good. You never want to use prosperity without at least having pickaxe. Any more gold that they can carry at one time is big for prosperity, which allows them to gather faster. It's quite a bit of a faster gather rate. Off the top of my head, I don't know what it is, but it's pretty good. And again, we got a few boats up here as well, but it's just, water is always kind of in the defender's advantage because of being able to fight underneath shooting docks, which... And Herro getting a little bit out microed here for now. Loot fighting, yeah. In Age of Mythology, before the Titans got released, docks didn't shoot arrows, which overall was probably better. Kind of talked about it yesterday, but really, it seems like the defenders really shouldn't get an advantage in like an RTS game. Like, you should generally always be rewarded for aggression. And unfortunately, water, especially on a map like this, you really don't get rewarded for your aggression. I mean, it comes to the point where you have to outnumber your opponent just to push through the docks. And I don't know, I can't really use that as just like a complete blanket statement. I mean, defense has its purpose, and we are going up with Frost. I would think he would do flaming weapons, and Joe will be up almost right at 8:30 actually, which is about the time that you would shoot for, I would think. So 8:32, and the immediate Ancestors Eclipse on the base. And we'll see if it's able to do much damage. It looks like probably not, actually. Well, I mean, it'll cause some vills to go idle, and lost 1 vill there, but when you compare what it could be. Does the dock have the same attack as a tower? Actually pretty similar, but let's take a look at this. Yeah, this Ancestors Eclipse, not a lot of value out of it. 2 vills killed. I mean, it does, though, slow Herro down quite a bit and is allowing Joe to just take free map control. And Herro is now grabbing his town center, which he probably could have done a while ago. The Scorpion will run through this wood line here. Might end up killing the Ulfsark too. Nope. Oh, gotta watch out your Scorpion Man, though. Okay, so 3 vills dead for Ancestors Eclipse. Not a lot of value out of that as far as, like, on this end, but basically gives Joe free reign of the map, and then also, like, causes some mayhem in the eco. And also Joe did make a few extra boats on the top, and he's actually on the bottom as well, is also significantly ahead here. And Eclipse does improve the attack of the Leviathan as well, so I guess on the one end I didn't show it, but it probably was useful. But yeah, you can't lose both sides of the water and expect to win against an Isis, but that is what Herro did. And we can see he's got 1,400 resources as far as food, but can't really do anything with it. And he's also completely lost water, and Joe probably has, yeah, he already has the second fish upgrade as well. So Herro is substantially far behind, and I think the one town center, kind of fast heroic, really doesn't get him much value. You could either do some early pressure, or at least kind of try to prevent the initial build in the middle, or do just a straight 2-town center with a slower heroic. But the 1-town center I don't think is the right move here. But again, as I kind of talked about at the beginning of the game, Thor v Isis on this map is tough. Very hard. Dude, so the tower, I mean, the tower I think depends slightly on, see, if I believe the tower does, it does 10 pierce damage. I think it does 2 arrows, so technically 20. The dock does 8, so it's 16 damage. So dock not quite as much as the tower, and really the dock could probably get, it wouldn't be unfair to like nerf the attack down a little bit because it's just so strong. Oh, decay. Freezes an elephant, which is just kind of, unless you can like pick off a unit, it'll eventually unfreeze and come back. And now we have kind of our first push by Joe, which doesn't quite have the army on land to win this, but does have kind of firm control of the water. So yeah, as I already covered implication, this is a very, very tough matchup for the Norse. And using a frost, but this isn't really the kind of situation that you want to use frost in. You like want to use frost when it's like you're attacking a building, so that like the army's frosted, you can kill the town center and then get back to the building, or get back to the army. But the frost here really, I mean, each attack he just does 1 damage to each unit, so he is doing damage, but it's like minimal at best. And meanwhile, Joe is like taking this town center right outside of Herro's line of sight, and if Herro doesn't notice that, that would be a very unfortunate mistake for him. And I don't think you'll notice it, which is just too bad. Because yeah, when a unit gets frosted, as long as they're not frosted by the giant, they get 99% armor. And it looks like Joe will get that town center right under the nose of Herro, which is too bad, because Herro could have easily prevented that, but his entire army contented themselves by doing 1 damage per attack on all of these units. But a very strong win. I mean, that was a strong win for Herro, but the question now would be, how in the world is he going to get this town center? Joe has tons of eco. Probably needs another barracks, actually, because he got eco, but no, not nearly at full pop. Here come those Jarls. A few frost giants. In fact, Joe might end up like aging up pretty soon as well. We'll see what he decides to do. It'd probably be better at this point, though, to just tech up and pop out before aging up. And Herro is just going to, I guess he's going to get his mine from this mine right here. Never mind the battle that's going on, though Herro is winning the battle considerably. He does have the Pierce Armor upgrade. That's a very good upgrade to get against Egyptian. Does make these Jarls live quite a long time against chariots. They got 41% Pierce Armor. And oh, I like this forest fire. That's getting a ton of extra damage on those chariots. Not a bad forest fire. And oh, sneaking over to that gold mine as well. And actually, this is a very strong counter push by Herro. I'm actually, this actually isn't going too badly for him so far. But like, not being allowing that town center was just a really unfortunate mistake by him. Because if it's 2-2 town centers, the Herro's not in a terrible position. I mean, still, the attack is a little bit, I don't know, like Herro's, I guess at this point, hoping he can do like a gold starve, I think. But I don't think he has quite the resources to continue this push. We see he's only at 110 pop, and that's courtesy of losing all of his water. So he doesn't have the food to do what he needs to do as far as an army. He's got a ton of frost giants though. He's got 5 frost giants. Yeah, Herro, I'm looking at it right now. He's got 146 food and no fishing at all. And now Joe has solidified this push and is still at actually full pop, and I guess is not going to get his side town center at this point. Well, that was kind of the critical point in the game. If Herro wanted to have a chance of winning, he would have to gold starve Joe, and even if he would have secured this position, he still would have had to like get down to this gold mine as well. So theoretically, say he would have won this fight, it still wouldn't have been over. Yeah, Herro 100. Just the problem is losing both sides of water, but how do you not lose both sides of water and still, you know, kind of compete on land as well against an Egyptian? And that's just, ISIS is just so good at this map. I mean, of all my maps, this is one of ISIS's best. The random spearman raids on these gold miners. Does have the second Pierce Armor upgrade too, but there are a few axemen. You can see just the absurd amount of damage they do to these Huskarls. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is a ton of damage. And Herro still pressing forward, but his time is running out. Joe is at 154 pop, about to grab the last town center that's open on the map. Economically, he's got pretty good eco upgrades. Herro on the other side, Herro's okay. The axemen do hack damage, that is correct. So the Pierce Armor doesn't help against the axemen, of course, but you like to get Pierce Armor first. Oh, throwing axemen do hack damage, that is correct. And 192 population to Herro's 120. Well, he's missing 2 houses for some reason. But 192 to 140 pop. And he calls it GG just like that. So Herro had a decent little push here, but I mean, let's be real, with losing both sides of the water, even if he were to have killed this Migdal and secured this position, he would not have been able to push through and gain control of the sides. But yeah, I wish I could tell you what Thor could do in this situation to win, but I'm really not sure at all. I think his hope is to probably grab an earlier second town center and maybe fight a little bit harder on water. But then you just really put yourself in a rough situation when it comes to trying to win on land. But really, also the frost, I think he'd get more value out of flaming weapons anyway. Flaming weapons would allow him to win that frost battle just a little bit faster, and then maybe push through and do some more damage. I guess, in my opinion, I feel like flaming weapons would be better, or Braggy would be better than Freya. Not Freya, is it Freya? No, not Freya. Scotty or Skady. So Joe is 1-0. And now, unfortunately, I will have to stop watching recorded games and just go and watch a stream, because the rest of the games all had 2 observers, which means the recorded games don't work. But I've got everything ready to go, I do believe. And I will put on just a little bit of background music, being the Age of Mythology soundtrack, and then we will mute the stream and we will just watch watch the stream of the recorded game here, and this music seems a little bit loud to me. Actually, it's kind of laggy right now. Let me close more stuff. I might not be able to stream and have music at the same time in order to keep the quality. So game 2 is right here, which we were watching, and it does look like I don't know if this is my streams or Joe's that is skipping frames. It's not Joe's. This is actually Fox's stream, I do believe. But this is Team Migration, and it looks like Joe has gone with a Norse god. I missed what it was, and Herro also is Norse as well. So we've got 2 Norse, and okay, so Joe is Loki on Team Migration. So we got our wish with the crazy map. I can actually move my chat a little bit over here so it's out of view of everything. And I wonder if Herro went Loki as well. I want to see him click on Herro's units, and we'll see. So Team Migration is kind of like Vinland Saga in a way, but you have a little more resources on your initial starting bases. And dang it, we're having a veto, I guess. So we will have to skip over to the next Team Migration. I thought I was ready. Well, now we are ready. All right, so this is, so they get some vetoes that they can redo the games if they feel like within the first 2 minutes, if there's something that happened in the game. This is kind of weird watching the stream. I hope he leaves this chat off so I can just keep the stream up and not get those weird interruptions. But we are Loki v Loki on this map. Is this a good Norse map? Really, I wouldn't say it's the best. Kind of surprised they're both going Norse. I think it's good for Egyptians. I'm kind of surprised. I think Herro played on this map against Sun Tzu, and he went Ra and won, and Sun Tzu went Thor. I think it'd be a better map for Egyptian. I mean, typically water is in Egyptians' favor outside of maybe Medit, but this one was such a defensive water, it'd be pretty good for the Egyptian. Also, if you do Ra or Set, you also get access to rocks which can just fly across the water and transport your units. Or if you go up with Ptah, you can also get shifting sands and just shift to the mainland when you want to. So it's very interesting that they both went Loki, and that is a very far gold mine that both players have, actually. That is quite far from the initial starting town center. You know, I'm kind of surprised. Seems like it's skipping or dropping frames, but when I streamed a stream the other day, I didn't have that problem. But they're sending each other trash chat in the chat. So just so it's not just me and there is a little bit of background noise, I will put on the music, which that is, yeah, that's definitely worsening my frame rate here. So I hate to have to stream a stream, but it's better than, I guess, probably having nothing on my channel. So we will do this, and the nice thing is I don't even have to scroll the mouse. I can just sit here and watch as these players duke it out, and the streamer will move the stream for me. Yeah, I would be interested to see. I don't know what you would really, I guess the Loki v Loki, they will prioritize the mainland. And try to win that. But we'll see what they do. It might end up being kind of a quick game if they lose. One of the 2 players gets kicked off the mainland. Like Joe, forward building on the mainland is much better than Herro. I don't know if Herro is going to build his temple in the mainland, but if he doesn't, that puts him in a very significant disadvantage. Oh no, somebody's not actually Loki. Herro is Odin. Okay, so Herro isn't Loki at all. He is Odin, and that's a bit. Hmm. I wonder if he's gonna be like trying to do some sort of like semi-quick mythic. I don't know. That would be kind of unusual. I feel like. Were they trash talking in game? Probably a little bit. Most of the AOT community gets along, and you kind of get the friendly little banter back and forth occasionally. And they are building their temples right next to each other. The one thing I would say though is like when it comes to early fighting, Joe would have the advantage with his Hersier spawning myth units. So if Joe goes on land really heavy versus Herro as well, I would think it would benefit Joe here. And when it comes to a Loki v Odin matchup. And it looks like Arrow is building a second dock. Well, no, he's probably house, so he's making another house. So is making another house, and we have a pause. Yeah, there is some lag, it looks like. They're both denying the lag. Oh, Joe is up Heimdall, though. That's a different strategy. You don't typically see Heimdall from the Loki. You normally see Forseti. I guess in a map like this where Hersier movement isn't quite so important, the Heimdall does make sense. Because the speed of the Hersier not really, I mean, there's so little actual landmass, the speed of your Hersier isn't quite as important. So Heimdall from Joe, and it was also looked like Heimdall from what in the world is Croydon talking about? It looks like Herro is also doing Heimdall as well. And Joe has a spy on Herro's army. So he sees what Herro is doing. And Joe is actually making a second temple. And that's probably better. And we now have the double Heimdalls. The Iron Jars both put out. They will each have an undermine that they can use. And actually, if Joe, because Undermine was changed so that it does affect all buildings, you could use it as Harrow is partially building that barracks and use it to kill the barracks because it does additional bonus damage versus buildings. So we might see some decent Undermine usage. I don't know why you waited so long. I would also wonder if they can they know how to line up the Undermine. But yeah, Harrow, there goes the Undermine. So the Undermine will help kill the temple much faster. We'll also get on that house and should move over to, yeah, the barracks as well. And it'll do about half damage to the buildings, which is pretty strong. And we can see that Harrow might have a hard time keeping up with the military production, and pretty soon those Hersier will start spawning myth units of their own. And Arrow will have a really hard time. He's making some boats in an attempt to kind of keep his base, but owning the shore doesn't quite get him access to another gold mine, and there is only that one small gold mine on each base, so Arrow, if he can't get access to another gold mine, will be in some rough shape pretty soon. Like Joe could almost like just upgrade his towers and build his towers right next to that gold mine maybe and just like secure this. Economically, I'm trying to look on the mini map as far as boats. It looks like they're about even in boat count. 369. I'm counting about 13, 14 for Harrow, and then About the same for Joe. Joe does not have purse sign though yet, which is that fishing upgrade. And we will see what Herro, maybe? No. Joe's a little bit cautious of attacking here because of the proximity to the shore. And that is a ton of villagers on that one gold mine there too. Both players should be running out of their gold mines pretty soon. And Herro will have to try to get to a gold mine. And there's one on the top of the map, one right there in the middle, and then two more down towards the bottom of that main island. It looks like Joe is sending a unit down to get line of sight of those bottom two gold mines as well. But Herro has a ton of, he actually has a lot more like warboats than Joe does, which is great if he can win the water, but if he doesn't win the water, he then got warboats that are taking up population space for, will be a very important fight over that gold mine. And I think that Ulfsark was deleted to make room for more Hersier. And will they ever fight? Or will they just like look at each other? Here comes the big fight here. Joe would have the army advantage going into this. We'd like to see the throwing axemen picking off throwing axemen, but yeah, Herro winning water, but kind of at the expense. Now now Joe is the one that has warboats there, and that is going to be the end of Herro's army. In fact, you can see how there's quite a few of his units aren't even doing anything because they're path blocked. And that is not a good fight for Herro. He is losing rapidly. There's two iron Harjars I think got spawned in that fight, and there's more coming out of the temple. And even though Herro is kind of winning water, kind of, at least he's harassing Joe's boats, Herro is kind of falling way behind when it comes to the land aggression. And when he loses this, you kind of wonder, might it be a quick game? Because how in the world is he going to get his gold? Yeah, we see his gold mine is out. Now he has a ton of villagers on his mainland that can't do a single thing. So I'm not sure what his plan is at this point, other than possibly find that resign button, because we see Joe is happily mining from the middle. And Joe also is knowing that, realizing that it's kind of important. The boat's right there on this kind of main base. And we're looking quickly at gold. And Herro has a little bit of gold. Joe does not have any. But Herro is also losing his boats again. And has no army whatsoever. So this will end up being a very quick 2-0 for Joe. He's got a ton of villagers chopping wood, but has no gold. So I'm not quite sure what Herro's plan is here, but I would assume Herro picked this map, and it didn't seem like he quite knew what to do, because this is not going well, and the transport boats are both dying, so he won't even be able to get to the mainland if he even wants to. And Herro has resigned, so he says in the chat, okay, misplay. Well, I would agree with that. So that is a very quick 2-0. And we are not sure what he was thinking, but it did not work. So we are going to skip forward to game number 3. And we have Highland, Set versus Zeus. Now Highland is more of kind of a normal map. It actually used to be in the normal map pool, but it got taken out just due to some kind of issues with the map. Set v Zeus on Highland is probably a pretty even matchup, actually, and we can kind of start seeing what the map looks like. Looks like there might be just two rivers going towards the middle of the map, which will have just that one choke point. Sometimes there can be additional paths through the middle. Always have to watch out for bears. Bears are very mean. And we'll probably see a bolt on that starting Pharaoh. Should see a bolt, and really the scout is misplaced there. The scout should be on the priest. The bolt will be on the Pharaoh. The villager will There we go. Kill the hyena. So hyena dead, and then we'll be able to finish up. Yeah, the 3v3 though on this map spawns quite a bit differently. It doesn't look like this on a 3v3. It's in a 3v3 it spawns a middle pond that then kind of has 6 like little rivers that kind of go towards the edges of the map, and then there's like a little choke point in between each player. So this was kind of a pretty standard opening. Is the set tries to go forward and harass the Greek or whoever his opponent is, and that gets out the initial bolt from Joe, or not, from Herro. And I don't know why he is trying to. I don't know why Herro's going forward to fight this, because his Villy has less hit points than Joe's Villy, so you'll have to fall back. And one thing it does do, though, is that the Pharaoh is a 20% empowerment, and losing out on your set Pharaoh right away is you are out 20% of some sort of drop-off point economy. Yo, what's up, Red Van? So we are on game 3 here, and unfortunately, because there were 2 observers for these maps, there are the recorded games cannot be watched, and I kind of wish they wouldn't have done that, but that is okay. And normally you would not see the set wasting time converting the crane. And actually, okay, so that river does not go all the way to the edge of the map. It actually stops. So it's a low value river anyway. There's only 6 fish in there. There'll be another river kind of towards the bottom, I think, maybe a little tiny pond, and then there'll be the longer one on the top. So there'll probably be 3 fish down on the bottom, and yeah, Joe did just scout that. Yes, if there's 2 observers, you cannot watch the recorded game. And Boyd has hosted for 25 viewers. Thank you for that, Mr. Boyd. You're a kind man. Watching what is kind of a very strange circumstance where I am streaming a stream of these tournament games, because there are 2 observers, so that kind of sucks. I like this map as Zeus into set, actually. I think if Herro plays this right, he could win. Unfortunately, Herro is not a Zeus main. really, Joe, who is the streamer, or not Joe, it's Fox who is streaming, is really amused by that converted crane. And we can see it in all of its pixelated glory, all zoomed in like this. And we are going to go now have more docks built on the top map. And there's a little boulder there too. Yeah, the streamer, you're right. Old Foxy really likes that duck and is just following, which is kind of entertaining. You normally don't see the priest converting the cranes. So there are 3 different sets of water here. The top water is the most valuable. It's got 12 fish. The middle one has 6, and the bottom one only has 3. And definitely want to win that top water. This map is, even though, what map is this? It's Highland. I believe it's Joe's map. It is a good set map. You get your Egyptian benefit of being able to build 50 gold docks, whereas the Greek has to do 120 wood docks. But yeah, it's Highland. Corded Cordash is still spamming this random. At least you could spell his name right if you're going to say that. But yeah, it is a good map for Egyptian, but Zeus, actually probably the best thing here for the Zeus is to do a fast heroic and go up with Dionysius. And we are seeing this bear. Will it finish off the Villy? Yes, it will. The bear wins. Bear 1, woman 0. And the woman is dead. And there comes another bear chasing the other lady. Alright, so Herro is up first, a 530 advance through Athena. And I wonder what he is going to do. I feel like the fast heroic for Dionysius with some Skilla on the water would be the best plan of action for him. Where can you download for free? Well, I probably can't specifically say that on my stream. Um, there are places that you can get it from. On YouTube, if you do a search for Playing Age of Mythology on Windows 10, there is a video with helpful information, but I will give no specifics. And okay, so a lot of warboats coming out for Joe here, and it looks like Joe's ahead. Yeah, Joe barely wins that. He must have gotten the first attack animation out. I wish I could check myself and see what Herro is doing. I really hope he's doing a fast heroic. I really hope he is. That would be great to see, because the fast heroic skill on this map are just so strong. Gotta watch out for Ajax, or not Ajax, Jason is kind of going head to head. Oh, the Minotaur getting some wax on the boat there, though. I like it. Will the Minotaur finish off the boat? One more hit. No, moves the boat away from the shore. That is too bad. And the one thing to also mention is that Herro is not a Greek player by trade, so I don't know if he will do a semi-quick fast heroic or if he will try something else. Joe is grabbing a second town center. Based on the fact that I'm not seeing Herro doing a whole lot, I think Herro probably is doing a fast heroic, but I might be wrong. And at this point, he should be almost age up. Yeah, this is the original Age of Titans. The one on Steam is the extended edition, which 30 to 50 seems really high. You should be able to get it cheaper than that. Oh, so Herro made a ton of boats and now is using restoration. Kind of a low value restoration, really. And he's also making hoplites, and they are kind of getting massacred. This is, in my opinion, not the right strategy for Herro to be doing. The fast heroic is something that should seriously be considered in this map. But again, Herro isn't exactly a... How much cost? Well, so you could buy the original CDs. However, there are issues with Windows 10 where some people can't get it to work on Windows 10 and other people can. So you got to keep that in mind. Otherwise, there are locations that you can obtain the game without having to pay for it. Or you could get the Steam, which is the updated version, which again also has some computer issues as well. And if Herro could actually kill that last dock, he might have a decent shot of taking that water, because then he would have 2 docks to Joe's 1. And we'll see. Okay, well, he does have both those docks down, though Joe is at 2 town centers, and it looks like Joe is trying to panic build a dock with his fishing ships there, and he's got his Ville running down. And Herro has kind of changed his hoplites course to the middle island, or middle water, I guess, not really island. Yeah, I don't... You could buy the original online, I would think. There's still some places. So this is not a recorded game. Unfortunately, Mr. Expert, there were 2 observers in this tournament game, so I am having to stream a stream of the game just so I guess I can have it on my channel. And I don't know why Herro is not going to kill that other dock there. Like Herro, I don't know if he should just kind of focus on one side of the water and win that, and then move on with his life. Yeah, I would say Herro is not doing that well, because he is down 2 town centers and still hasn't won any water. Because it's 2-to-1 town center. Joe is aging up. And Herro should have, like, look at his units right now. They're kind of running back and forth. His hoplites aren't doing much. He should have either stayed up there and finished off the top, or when he moved to the middle island, kept his hoplites down there and killed the other dock, and then he would have firm control of the middle. but he's not. So he's not, for the initial aggression, not too bad. I would have liked to have seen a fast heroic through Dionysius, but now he will finish off this dock. Get speeds up to 1 million. And, well, it's really not the internet that's the problem in like a situation like this. It's more so the computer being able to do the stream and also stream at the same time, which I am seeing just a few slight frame rate drops, but nothing too significant. Herro's got to be careful. He's got some idle villies, and with those axemen and then Pharaoh, I think Herro would not be able to hold in that. Yeah, he'd like to attack it, but he can't. Yeah, those axemen do so well against hoplites, along with the Scorpion Man who is showing up. And if things really got dicey, ooh, those villages are still idle. Things got dicey. Joe does still have shifting sands as well. So Joe has, I'm counting the fish, looks like Joe has 3, 6, 9, 12 fish, and Herro has 9 fish. So Herro, despite all of his efforts to win water, I don't know why he haven't built a third boat for that water there, because there's 3 fish. But despite all of Herro's efforts to win the water, he's still actually behind in fishing ship count, and he's also behind in town center count. So are all the rec gains broke? All except the first one, which you missed. So the rest I will have to stream the stream of. Hopefully they don't do that for the finals, because that would really, really suck. You know what? Since you mentioned that, since I'm not even watching a recorded game, I can get rid of that ugly green bar anyway. Sorry, I forgot you guys could still see it. So, there. Joe is using ancestors, and it doesn't look like Herro has any heroes there. Yeah, does it change the UI though, or does it just remove the green progress bar? Would be my question for that. And Herro's still at just 1 town center, and is not on the aggression at all anywhere. So this game quickly going to Joe's favor. Okay. Because I don't use a custom UI, I just use this standard UI. And then I just do the control up, control down when I play to minimize it. But okay, well, I'll take a look at that after, and that would be helpful because, yeah, the green bar is kind of ugly. So yeah, Herro is going to when he loses all the shifting sands on the Billies there. Oh, that hurts. So we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Billies dead with that. 6 actually. 7. I missed a body. 7 bodies there, and Herro is now way, way, way behind. In fact, he can't even gather like gold out of his base gold mine anymore. Yeah, if Herro were to want to advance to the finals, he is going to have to come back with 4 wins, and I'd find that unlikely. But at one point yesterday, Sheltie was down 3-1. And I think maybe Fox is AFK. We are watching him just looking at these trees. Where's Red's second gold mine? You can see it just above his town center on the right. It is his second gold mine. He is mining from there. All the others are to the left hand of the map. So the second gold mine location actually is in a pretty nice spot for him, provided he gets that other gold mine there. But I mean, he's been down 2-1 town centers for so long, and doesn't have any sort of map control. It's also down in fish count as well. So it is looking grim for Herro. I don't know. It'd be nice to see. I feel like semi-fast heroic with Dionysius would have been the way to go. But we will never know, I guess, if that was the right would have been the right strategy. And this could have worked a little bit yet. Or yeah, generally you are right, Mr. Red, is that it is pretty. You would think that walls would be built to kind of prevent any sort of counter raids. And Herro could have done that quite a bit of times, quite often, over and over, because he had the map control for a while. As you say that, we have Joe putting a wall down over there. Yeah, Highland. It's not a terrible map. I mean, it did used to be in the standard map pool. There's just some issues with it that are a little bit. Kurtage is off his rocker tonight. There's just a few issues with the map that makes it can be rough. And Joe went way forward with his units and is kind of getting surrounded by these Hippocon. The padlock. Man, you have a padlock? It seems a little bit unusual. What are we doing with this rotation, making this screen so blurry? Oh my goodness. Is this at the full source? Yeah, this is at the full source. Kind of surprised it's kind of blurry. Yeah, that gave me a headache too watching. See, when you watch me stream, you don't see me spinning the wheel like that. Not on this stream. And oh man, so yeah, Red Pan needs to. Oh, Red Van. Where is here anyway? I mean, you might as well say because Groided already knows where you are. Oh, you mean a bolt? That's not a padlock. That's just a bolt. Okay, so you get the outside at the padlock and the inside with a bolt. That's interesting. But you might as well tell us where you live because Groided already has your address, apparently. Get somebody on your side showing up at your house. And we can just look at the Thailand. Okay. Well, I would not have, probably even have ever guessed Thailand. I guess eventually, if I would have gotten out my list of countries of the the United States of the world, I eventually would have gotten to Thailand. And man, this stream is getting even blurrier than what it was before. Well, we are going to eventually, when Herro decides that he has found the resign button, we will find him resigning here. He is at 3 town centers, so maybe he will try to push forward with this game. But Joe actually is probably pretty close to aging up. And we were checking civilian units. Joe is at 96 to, oh, it's your dog, 90 to like 40, 47. It's not hopeless, it is. So look at the eco difference. It is way beyond hopeless. I know Twitch TV is. What's wrong with Thailand? How am I supposed to say it? Oh, you're right. If Joe did go AFK for about 5 minutes, Herro could maybe pull it back. But Joe at this point could just like auto queue units and he would win the fights. Because his eco, yeah, he's also up 87, 88% Horus. So Horus. Where will we see the tornado? Where will we see it? I love it. Oh, here comes the chariot coming in. And I guess the main town center. Why does he have so few vills? Because he went for the hoplite aggression, which hoplites cost 50 food. Are we using tornado? Okay, I guess we're holding on to tornado for something else. So the hoplites got destroyed, and then Herro was way behind on getting a second town center. So he is behind civvy count. He's also not really doing too well as far as fishing ship count, which also count towards your civilian total. So all told, he is way behind. In fact, Herro is not even aging up to age 3, whereas Joe is already age 4 with all of his upgrades and still has tornado to use and is pushing on land. And I might end up switching over. I don't know why the stream is getting so blurry, but how do I check the post game? I didn't. That was the streamer checking the post game. So he did a good job of checking it, right as there was kind of a question about the civilian count. Yeah, I mean, Joe at this point can do whatever he wants, and what in the world? I can't. These weird zoom ins by Fox is really, really annoying me that he is doing this. But it didn't show the damage of the myth units because the Avenger already used his special. So they couldn't do his special again. So yeah, I think I gotta switch over to Blackadder's stream of this because I think he was the other player who streamed. So we'll go to Blackadder for the next game. Yeah, I guess Herro doesn't like to resign. Because this game is substantially way over. Joe could just do okay, so there's Tornado. Yeah, okay, there's the resign. So let me switch over to maybe the other stream, which will hopefully have slightly higher quality. Though Blackadder has a bit of a goofy resolution, but okay. Let's try Blackadders. Okay, so we are going to move on to game number 4. Is it really going to be on Archipelago? I can go with that. Yeah, Herro did not do very good with that at all. And I guess since he has the scoreboard up in the top anyway, I can get rid of my scoreboard and we will minimize my scoreboard. And I hate to do this, but I feel like this is maybe better than not having. Yeah, I don't know why they had both Fox and Blackadder stream. It really makes no sense to me. So this is Archipelago, which kind of has some it actually has some randomness as far as how the islands can generate. Okay, this is the highest quality stream we can do here. So if you stream the video of this stream later, it'll be a stream of a stream of a stream. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be quite. You should do that. See like how many times over you can do that before the quality just becomes a complete blur. So we've got Odin versus Uranus, and Herro is the Uranus. Look at that relic, like hiding in the middle of the map. It's like halfway down into the land there. No more free sub? What do you mean? Now what are we looking at? This game is freezing? Oh, he's taking a picture. That's why. What map is this? It's Archipelago. Now, Archipelago could actually be connected. Archipelago can really be quite varied as far as how the land spawns. Yeah, he was taking a picture of that relic. Hey, we don't know if Hera loses this game, but I was surprised. I mean, I'd be very surprised if Herro um, wins 4 more games. I mean, I guess he'd have to win a game before he can win four. But Herro got there. He got 2 forfeit wins, and then played against Sun Tzu, which is kind of like Herro. They're kind of the same players in a way. They both play the same gods. And Herro outplayed Sun Tzu in the Loki v Loki, so Herro won that game and then ended up winning that series 3-1. Um, whereas like Shelty versus Skady, now that was a good matchup. Now Urbanos v Odin on this map, you probably, I don't know. Odin wouldn't do too bad on this, I think. It depends where the other gold mines are, which it looks like there are safe gold mines because Harrow's got gold mines on the bottom of his base there. And I would assume that Joe will have gold mines down there as well, and they're like right next to the town center. So it's kind of a cool map, though, how it ended up spawning with kind of the U-shaped water, with water in between. Like I don't have a problem with this map as far as like a competitive game. Hey, well, we'll see if you'll lose in the finals this tournament, won't we? I'd say him, assuming Joe wins at least one of the last 4 games. I'd say that's a really close match, and I would think favors Shelty. I feel like Shelty is better with more gods than Joe. But maybe Joe's been doing a lot of practice with kind of his off gods, so you don't know. But yeah, I feel like Shelty has some pretty good off Norse gameplay. And yes, Red Van's SS. Herro is still alive. Yeah, Megalopolis too is a really cool map as well. For some reason, like of all the maps that could be picked, for some reason Megalopolis was not allowed to be picked in this tournament. And like it's not any more crazy than some of the other maps. I mean, you're telling me you can pick River Nile, but not Megalopolis? Like that's kind of that's kind of a kind of affront to the map. Is that you're saying that Megalopolis is a worse map than Megalopolis or the Megapolis? I always forget. The unknown too is kind of funny though. It can be really it can be completely jacked though when you consider like map balance. That relic too is kind of hiding in the middle of the hill, little hill there. All right, so Hero is up Prometheus at 4:30. That's kind of standard water play. And we'll see how soon Joe will be aging up. Building a dock. So that is his second dock or maybe his third. And Harrow is okay, so Joe is up 504 with Freya. That's pretty standard. It looks like Harrow is going. I see a stream of boats coming forward to Joe's side of the map. So Harrow is really putting some value into the boat harass, which that is also the benefit of Atlantean on a map like this, where it's actually takes so long to get to the other side of the map. The faster moving biremes can actually be pretty helpful here, though Joe is ready. And he's got 3 boats to defend, and Harrow is shooting aimlessly at the fishing ship and has lost 1 boat for absolutely no reason. So it is Megalopolis. So I think I used to call it Megapolis, just because it was easier to say. But Megalopolis is is kind of an awkward word. And we have the forest fire, and we got that villager that will be getting burned shortly. And the Terma is nicely walking right next to the forest as well to kill itself, and it's dead. So, well, that sucks. And oh my goodness. Oh. Nothing like leaving it to the very last moment to garrison your citizen there. Um, Herro probably a little distracted by trying to fight on the water, but 4v4 is not a good fight, especially underneath the enemy dock. And so far, the pressure on water hasn't. Yeah, Acropolis. Acropolis and Megalopolis. I don't know. Now, if you get Chicks in here, and he has some very unique pronunciations of words, I really enjoy some of the things that comes out of his mouth. I love Chicks too, by the way, but he mispronounces some words. I'd like to hear him go at Megalopolis, which I might be mispronouncing it anyway. Now we got a lot of Ulsarks. Now Ulsark spam versus Atlantean isn't bad. Ulsarks get a little bit of a bonus versus Terma, as do all anti-siege or anti-cav infantry. I think even hoplites do. And there's also that boat helping out as well. So fighting next to the shoreline is definitely not in Herro's favor, and he is getting quite repelled quite easily by Mr. Joe. Though it looks like Herro might be kind of winning the water battle on the top. I can't tell though because we're busy watching all of these Terma and Ramillos running. Now Chicks isn't a bad caster at all. I don't have a problem with his casting. Are you sure it's 50? That seems a little bit high. I would think 50 is high. I don't know if I quite agree with that, but I've got two people throwing that number at me. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to say oh, he's even garrisoning troops in the boat there. I like it. And what do we got here? Okay, so Herro is not winning the water. Groyded must be like drunk tonight or something because he's normally more of a solid. He's not quite putting this kind of stuff in the chat, but we've got it tonight. Groyded must party on the Saturday into Sunday. And now we have some Promethean, but Joe does have quite a few hearse here. Just have to notice, okay, quickly notice that his dwarves were idle. Now we've got quite the battle here, and Shockwave being used. Isn't actually the greatest Shockwave for him because it allows the Ulsarks to kind of flank, but he is pushing back. So Herro is pushing Joe back. I wouldn't go by that wiki, though. I don't trust. There's been stuff that I've read on there that isn't true. I'm not a big fan of that Age of Empires fandom wiki because there are numbers on there that are not correct. So you know what? I dispute the 50% bonus. I won't say you guys are wrong. If it's not the tooltips, I do trust a little bit more. And Joe is now fighting back with his longboats. So maybe it is 50%, but no, I don't hate Wikipedia or even the Age of Empires wiki, but I've just seen numbers on the Age of Empires wiki that aren't correct. So I'm not gonna just go headlong into believing the wiki numbers. But if the tooltip says it, it's more likely to be true because the tooltips were, as far as I know, the tool. Oh wow, that is a complete massacre right there of Herro's army. Oh my goodness. The tooltips are more based off of. I think they weren't based off of the wiki. They were actually based off of actually checking the game files. Was wiki around So I graduated high school in 2000, spring of 2006. Would Wikipedia been around then? I don't remember it being around then, but it might have. I'm only 22. This guy knows more about me than I do. And Herro losing that fight put a lot of. It was founded in 2004. Okay, so it would have been around, but I don't know. Would anybody have been using it back then? This raid here is not going to go well for Herro, especially if he's fighting all these masses of. Founded in 2001. See, how am I supposed to believe you guys for the bonus damage against Terma when you guys can't even agree on when Wikipedia was founded? When does Wikipedia say it was founded? And oh, we got Joe getting that forward town center as well. Hey, well, you know what? Let's take a look at the resource total, though. Let's see. Okay, we're not doing that. Joe has taken quite a few good fights, and these throwing axemen, once they get on the Murmillo, will actually do a lot of damage as well. Though it looks like Joe is trying to build that town center, but with the Prometheans whacking away, not going to happen. And we do have some Chiro Ballista, which probably needed to come out a little bit sooner. Chiro Ballista plus Promethean is a good combo. And Joe does not have any hearse here. Well, he's got one. Oh, Chiro Ballista going in melee range. And that fight, oh my goodness, wow, Joe is completely lost that battle. Wow. That was not a good trade, and Herro should right now keep the pressure on, and he might be able to continue through. Yeah, those Kira Ballista in a situation like this are really, really strong. Almost pure infantry. And the Cheer Ballista, well, I mean, getting away from the Valk is the only thing that can kill. Oh, we got Scotty up for Joe, though. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. He tried too long to build that town center. There goes the Frost. And then when he started fighting, eventually he realized the town center wasn't ever going up. And then when he started fighting, he was in some pretty poor position. And we've got Joe is a first up heroic, but Herro is the first one to grab a second town center. And I don't even know if this frost will last long enough for Joe to get that town center up there. And actually, Joe only has one back gold mine. So if he wants to get to another gold mine, he will have to eventually go forward. Joe is used to Egyptian pharaoh empowerment, maybe. Oh, that one Billy only has like 10 hit points. He could freeze. He should have frozen the one. Oh, don't freeze the one that's almost dead. Come on. Aww. Yeah, maybe he's not quite realized that how slowly they build town centers. Like here he is doing this again. And yeah, that town center, that attempt of the forward town center grab might really get that town center up. The Frost Giants will do some work though, because all the Valors are used up. Herro should probably age up with Hyperion. And, oh, Thea. Okay, Thea does get the birds, which also isn't bad. A Fire Giant taking so much damage on the front there and still alive. Dang it, why would you check the post game now? Why are you checking the post game? Oh. Okay, now we're getting Joe. Oh, Joe did run out of gold because of his transition to that forward gold mine, I think. Because why would he be making Valkyrie? So he does get the town center, but does not have much of an army right now. Still has water. 3, 6, 9, 12. Looks like 12 fishing boats of water. And Herro, if actually Joe's... No, this isn't Fox anymore. I switched to Blackadder because Fox's stream was too blurry. And I don't know where Herro is going with his army, but it's the wrong way. This is Archipelago. It is a cool map. Now, Archipelago can vary quite a bit. It can be like separate islands for each player. Archipelago can be. In this case, they were connected. And look at those fire ships. We've actually got a bit of a boat battle, and those two boats have been idle for a very long time. Semi-final roast. Well, I think sometimes I do tend to be maybe a little too overly critical of players. It's just so easy, though, to see mistakes when you're watching the recorded games. And the raid does get on those villies, though. I don't know how many it killed because we were watching the boats. But Herro is putting on quite the pressure here. I'm wondering if Joe is close. I think at this point Joe's only chance of if he has like a Ragnarok about to pop. And I don't know. He might have the food for it. He has a market up. Yeah, this is a cool map. Like when you talk about actually competitive games, like this isn't a bad map to have like a competitive game on. It's pretty cool actually. Now is Joe aging up Mythic? That's the one thing I really hope Blackadder checks right now, because if Ragnarok is not coming soon, Joe's in some pretty significant problems. I don't know why he's running all of those units. He should just fight. But he's not aging up in the front, TC. Joe did grab that back one, and he's actually kind of pushing enough villies for Reg, but he's against Atlantean. I'd say yes, he does. There's the Balder, so he was up. So we'll probably see Balder pretty quick. Not a lot of units, or it's not a lot of units, not a lot of technologies. And he actually might be able to hold this with the fire giant showing up as well. But will he do Reg yet, or will he wait a little bit? What versus Atlantean, the Reg is so strong. And it doesn't look like Herro really has much of an army either. And here is the Reg coming. Yeah, you probably should have just attacked right away. But not a big deal, because I don't think Herro has any sort of like defenses. So Herro will just have to fall right back to his base, and I don't think he has his base built up. He doesn't even have like fortified town center at all or anything. So I do think that this is enough units to win. And see, now we have Herro panic building a fortress, getting fortified town centers. Joe should probably not be getting quite so distracted by that forward town center. Like the rest of his army should kind of be going forward and just enough to kill that. But also kind of important to see how much gold is left in Herro's back gold mines. Herro did have 2 back gold mines. So we'll see if that'll allow him to hold. But I don't know if he has enough of buildings to defend. I mean, it's a nice conglomeration of buildings down there, though. We got fortress, some barracks. Philly's getting pounded by that like 3 hit point frost giant. We're checking water for some reason. Come on, get on the fight. Oh my goodness. Okay, so does he needed to get Masons as well. Masons is very important against Reg. And it doesn't look like he got Masons. Did he? Oh, he did. He did get Masons, so that's good. So Masons is researched. The Regs are going kind of slowly away. But Joe does have an eco to fall back on. I mean, he's got fishing and caravan, so even if he doesn't quite completely roll Harrow over, oh, we've got a little bit of an attack on the back gold mine too. Which actually there is no, yeah, there is that back gold mine. But will the town center go down? I don't. It's gonna be close, but it's actually almost more important right now to see what's going on with that back gold mine. I don't know what the point is of the destroyers being trained either, and that town center will go down. That fire giant almost dead. Okay, it is dead. Town center will go down. He probably almost could have saved it if he would have repaired it. So down to one town center, and Herro was having some harass on his back. And yeah, right now Herro is kind of getting spanked by Joe. And oh, that raid on the gold mine might be exactly what. Yeah, Herro wasn't quite ready for the reg. He really should have walled a little bit too. I know you're Atlantean, but the walls tank so much damage. I mean, even if you just put a wall like in front of your fortress, I mean that's an additional more hit points that the reg has to go through, and that reg did his work. It did what it needed to do because Herro has nothing, and Joe still has fishing ships and trade caravans, so Joe should be able to even replenish like some more Olsarks coming in. And look at all those dead citizens, and that is a resign. Yeah, he's got frost giants, dryads, and one fire giant. So that is a 4-0 to Joe. So that was a very quick series. Congratulations, brother. Good luck in the finals. I don't know if I'd be that polite after I got spanked 4-0 in the semis. But he is. Well, that was at least that last game was pretty close. Herro just took a few too many early bad fights that kind of hurt him. Because I mean, he eventually he was probably a little too slow to get Kira Ballista. Because once the Kira Ballista showed up, he just started massacring, along with the help of Joe kind of throwing his army away at that forward town center. But Herro took a few too many early losses that kind of prevented him from getting enough pressure. Like if he could have just got a little more pressure, he could have probably gold starved once Joe's back gold mine ran out. What would I say? Well, I don't know, because it's been a very long time since I was even like good enough where I could have even like remotely thought I would make a semifinal. So at this point, I've kind of like accepted the fact that I lose, so it doesn't bother me. But I don't know. I think if I were like decent enough to make the semifinals and then I lost 4-0, I don't know. But I've always been a pretty good sport. That was kind of something instilled in me by my mother. So I probably would just be like, well, GG, I sucked. You were good. But 4-0. Well, that was a demolition by Joe, who will move on to play Shelty in the finals. So I guess we will move to our summer overlay, and Joe won every game. So let me update the scoreboard here. So at least we have scoreboard. Game one was Anatolia, and that was Isis Thor. Game two. Yeah, that Herro got his butt smacked. What was game two? Was that the Loki v Loki? Oh, there was Loki v Odin. I don't remember. Someone's gonna have to help me here. Because Joe won the first game, and that was Thor Isis on Anatolia. And Joe won the last game, which was Uranos Odin. Oh, that was game 2. Joe's Loki v Odin was game 2, and then we had Zeus v Set on Highland for game 3. And then game 4 was the one we just watched, which was Archipelago. And that was Uranos Odin. And Herro got swept. Now, Herro never even went with Loki. I guess if you can't win any game without Loki, what's the point of choosing Loki? Because it's just delaying the inevitable. So Joe, 1, 2, 3, 4 wins in a row, advances to the finals against Shelty. So finals. Let's update my little brackets here so they are ready to go. Now I will hopefully there will not be 2 observers for the finals, because that would major suck, because I don't know, it's pretty rough streaming a stream because the quality is bad, and then I can't even look at like what I want to look at. And it's kind of frustrating. So Joe versus Shelty. Now they were the number 1 and number 2 seeds, and they are in the finals. I am kind of interested though, because we had that archipelago. I wonder how often it would spawn like that. I think it's fairly often, but not every time. But Jonathan, I love you too, and Ozone. I love you two both equally. Oh my goodness, that's loud. So let's just, very curious. You know what? Should I play a game? Because that was a kind of a quick stream. I started a little bit later than normal though. Dang it, I want to get on my desktop. I hate when I have windowed open. I might play like one game. If there's a game to play, it doesn't look like there is right now. Bunch of AFK games. I could play as Zelda. AOM Expert, are you still in the chat? Are you... Well, never mind. I can get that link off of... I can get it off the chat log. So I'm going to check and see, because that archipelago was kind of cool. Let's see what kind of archipelago maps we can get spawned here. Okay, so this is obviously separated by the... Oh, do I even have this working right? Seen some sick role play on the one on the maps. There's 3 islands. That's more of team migration, though. No, cancel. New. Okay, let me get that going here. Okay. Let's see archipelago again. See what it does this time. Oh, this is weird. Look at this spawn. That's kind of a cool spawn here. There's a lot of gold mines on this little map formation, but it's kind of a cool little connection here. Kind of an Egyptian heaven, I would think. You just wall that off 3 times and then you're safe. Yeah, if Archipelago was like more... If it didn't have the separate islands spawn, it'd be pretty cool. But the separate island spawn, like right here, it's like so tantalizing, where it's almost connected, but it's not. And that sucks. Here's one right in the middle. That's kind of weird. It's like an eye. Some unknown or land unknown. So the unknown can get water along with. And now look at this map. This only has 2 gold mines. I think, yeah, there's only 2 gold mines, and they're small. You only get 2 small gold mines on this map. Land Unknown is a little bit different. Let's see this, and actually it can have water as well. So this is Land Unknown with a little bit of water. This is actually as far as look at this massive forest right here. Like you shall not go to this side of the map anytime soon. That's funny. Yeah, no, I've used to. In fact, it's been a long time, but I've played some unknowns. It's actually you do get quite a few of this random tree crap in the middle with unknown spawns. The unknown again. Oh, this is kind of cute. Look at all the fish on the bottom here. And you get 3 starting gold mines in your base. Well, I guess that guy does. The other guy only gets 2, but he gets this big one right here. Let's try it again. This really looks like the other one. And again, we get the trifecta of gold mines in the base. So this guy gets that 4th one. Town centers. Look at this one, like hidden way back here. Yeah, why can't they walk through the forest? You're right. Why? Oh, I like this one. Blue's town center is main is not on his island, and Red gets access to both of his. Look at the trees. This is all the trees. Oh man. Let's try it again. Some of these are really funny. Oh, this one's like wide open. I guess all the hunt spawns on this side of the map though. Like all this guy gets is 3 berries and then this hunt spawn, but this guy gets that hunt, that hunt, that hunt as well. So yeah, these maps can be really jacked up. Oh, this one is kind of like that other one. Oh, look at these town center placements though. These forests would make this like so frustrating to play. Do you get, is that the unknown that could get them in the middle of the trees? Whoa. 2 forests, a huge land mass, and then we've got the water on the edge. And like gold mines everywhere. Three goats, 3 goats. See, this guy gets. I've noticed that the hunt is really screwy. Like, there's only 1 spawn of zebra on the map. Like, there's almost not even enough food to like advance on this map. You get 3 berries. And am I waiting for a tournament game? No, I'm just kind of messing around. There are no. I was going to play a game, but it doesn't look like there's anything to play right now. Otherwise, I would play like 1 game. So I am all caught up now when it comes to the tournament games. So there is only the finals, and there might be a 3rd place game in the finals, but we've also got RTS League that will be coming soon with the playoffs. So we'll have some games to go through with the RTS League as well coming up. This map looks awful. So we'll have some more games to stream once the 1v1 tournament ends. And then, I don't know, there might end up being like a fall tournament as well. It kind of seems like lately it's been like 1 tournament gets done, the next one starts, and then go so on and so forth. Oh my goodness. This is an interesting map. Yeah, there's unfortunately no games to play. So I might turn it off because I will be back tomorrow night. So I'll probably just play my games tomorrow night, though it being a Sunday night into a Monday, I guess, isn't quite so good for everybody else. But I do appreciate you guys. I don't know, Blossom, are you still around, my man? You coming here, coming at me with those wild accusations, Mr. Mert, calling me a noob? Man, I could show you a game of me kicking Magic's butt from 2004. Maybe it was 2005. It was old. Anyway, I think I will call it a night. So that is it, and that is all. So I do appreciate all of you guys who stuck around for kind of, I don't know, not the highest quality of stream. I'm streaming a stream of the tournament. So hopefully there won't be 2 observers for the last tournament matches, because if there's the finals and there's 2 observers, we'd have to do the same thing. And I don't know, there's streaming a stream just, it's just so low quality. It's pretty rough to do, but for those of you who did watch, I appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys maybe tomorrow night, and if not tomorrow night, maybe some other night. So, well, I'm glad you enjoyed, Mr. AOM Expert. And thanks for that link. I'll look into that and see if I can fix that so I don't have it anymore. That would be pretty awesome. Well, this guy just posted, like, this is just a recent post. Wow. Huh. Okay, well, that just happened. Well, that's cool. Are we waiting for a game? Well, there isn't a game to play. So, and I'm going to be playing tomorrow night. So I'll call it a night and move on to other things. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night. Thank you, Mr. Mert, for coming in and calling me a noob. I do appreciate that. You're the best. And that is it. So have a good Sunday for you guys. And those of you who are watching YouTube later on, if you've made it to the very end of this video, may you experience the best in your endeavors. So have a good night, guys. I will catch maybe some of you tomorrow night, a couple hours prior to this, and hopefully we'll have some good games. So that's it for tonight. Good night, guys. Have a great day or night or whatever.